Right now at noon, authorities in Newton County, Missouri investigate a shooting incident which left 2 people dead.
And things have calmed down since this morning. We've got some clouds out there letting sunshine in, and that's why we've got that opportunity for another round of strong to severe thunderstorms. We'll have a look at that forecast coming up.
Plus, the city of Fort Scott has some questions concerning the future of the baseball team and league.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Authorities in Newton County are investigating a weekend murder-suicide. This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Elise Noe. They say 62-year-old William Clanton called police Saturday night to report that he had shot his wife several times and then he threatened to shoot himself. When authorities arrived, they found 65-year-old Vicki Clanton dead by gunshot wounds and her husband dead by a single gunshot wound. Now let's check in with Chris Warner for a look at the forecast.
Yeah, we're taking a quick look outside from the Skywatch Storm Tracker, and you can see where we've got the spotty clouds here and there. This is just a radar issue. That's not actual rain out there, and if it was, that'd be worth studying. But we've got scattered clouds, which is allowing sunshine into the area, which has allowed, we've had a couple of little showers try and flare up, but nothing has gotten going yet. The main complex that's still out to our west, we do have this one cell. It's been severe for a while, approaching haze, but nothing else filling in between. And this is a look at the MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line in Joplin. Ample sunshine out there, also ample traffic for the lunch hour. And of course, we've got just a few clouds, but more sunshine getting through from our camera on the Cornell complex. So we still do have an elevated risk for large hail and for damaging wind gusts out there. So that's something we're going to have to keep an eye on as we head into the evening. Temperatures warming up. Now, some of you still seeing a little more cloud cover or just now getting into some sunshine, a little cooler, mid-70s. But where the sunshine's been out, especially right here along I-44, we're already getting into the low to mid-80s. Well, stay dry for most of the afternoon. We could start seeing a few of those isolated to widely scattered showers and storms, but then the activity will really start to pick up by late evening into the overnight. We're going to break down all the details on these incoming thunderstorm chances here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. We have an update on the Miami, Oklahoma travel agent who had been accused by former clients of defrauding them. Diane Whifford's company is now facing an eviction. Whifford has been jailed since her arrest last week on charges that she wrote bad checks years ago. We have no word yet on whether she's been charged in the fraud investigation. We've talked with a number of people who claim they've paid her thousands of dollars for vacation arrangements that were never made. Now an affidavit has been filed to evict Whifford's company, Whifford Tour and Travel, from 103 East Central Avenue in Miami. Well, in the wake of recent severe weather in the area, many homeowners have been taking a closer look at their insurance. Chris Bryant looks at some recent changes homeowners can expect.
A lot of times people just grab that, that mail, like, oh, that's junk, I'm gonna throw it in the trash can.
That pile of papers from your insurance company could be notifying you of important changes to your homeowner's policy.
I know one company, they're sending out letters right now raising that wind and hail 1% deductible. And if you don't open that and realize that, and then you have a wind hail claim and you don't know you've got a $3,000 or $5,000 deductible, that could be devastating, to your banking account.
That 1% deductible means if you carry $500,000 in coverage on your home, that new deductible could be as much as $5,000.
So insurance companies, to keep from going broke or leaving the state, being in the negatives, they're actually having the homeowner take on more payment and risk. So before you file a claim, make sure you know exactly what your deductibles are on your wind and hail.
And before you file that claim,
one of the biggest tips I have is especially just don't file a claim because someone climbed on your roof and told you to file a claim. I would call your agent, advise them, and also get a well-known local roofing company to come out and check it out.
The Better Business Bureau says our recent storms make this area a prime target for those looking to make a quick buck.
Anytime there's a storm or any kind of natural disaster, you're going to get scammers and unethical companies following in the wake, so to speak.
And before you commit to a contract,
consumers want to get things taken care of. If you have damage to your home or automobile or anything, you want to get it taken care of, but you don't want to rush into that process. You want to do your research and carefully vet any contractor before you pay them anything or sign any kind of a contract.
and never pay the full amount up front.
When you're working with a contractor, of course, they may need a deposit to get started. So BBB recommends roughly a third down, a third about halfway through, and then a third when the job is completed to your satisfaction.
Before you file a claim on your roof or any other kind of claim with your home insurance agencies, it's best to have somebody like a roofer take a look at the damage. It could be a situation where the cost of these repairs is actually less than the cost of your deductible. Requesting information regarding an announced baseball team called the Fort Scott Marshals. Last week, a press release announced the creation of the Fort Scott Marshals, who would play in the Central Plains Baseball League. But city officials say they were not aware of the announcement. The city has released a statement saying that while they hope to have a summer league, they want to make sure it's a legit league and a good fit for the city. While there is an actual Central Plains Baseball League for Kansas high schools, anyone approached by a representative from the Central Plains Baseball League is encouraged to contact the Fort Scott city manager. A man who says he's on the board of directors for the league says they put out the releases to draw attention to the league, but still have more work to do.
We're working on our website and getting built, and we're working on the team sites to get built. And we're working on getting social media up going for the team. So it's taking a process. It's taking a process, you know, like people say, Rome wasn't built in a day, and a league's not going to be built in one day. So,
according to the representative with the league, teams would play 58 games over the summer season. He says the first games will be in May 2025. Ronald McDonald House Charities of the 4 states yesterday received a donation from local High-Speco employees. They gave just under $2,400. It's the first of 4 checks that High-Speco plans to present throughout the year. Employees will also commit to volunteer service as well as the monetary contributions.
Just the opportunity to give back. I mean, organizations and nonprofits, we know that they operate on a tight budget a lot of times. So if we succeed as a company, we want to help them succeed in their missions. And so for our organization, it's been a lot of employees love the idea of giving back to the individual communities.
In last year's partnership with Ronald McDonald House of the 4 states, High-Speco gave more than $10,000 to the charity. A blast from the very distant past in Webb City. Dinosaur Dimensions, an educational summer program, brings dinosaurs back from the past. The program shows 4 different dinosaurs and allows the kids to name each one. After getting to meet the animatronic creatures, children are taught the wonders of reading at your local library. Well, coming up, President Biden is expected to issue a long-anticipated executive order to partially shut down asylum processing along the U.S.-Mexico border. And later, we're making the ultimate tuna melt in the Mr. Food test kitchens. President Biden is expected to announce a long-anticipated executive action today on the issue of immigration. It would be his toughest move so far to control the number of migrants coming across the U.S. border with Mexico. Skylar Henry reports from Washington.
Earlier this year at the U.S.-Mexico border, President Biden urged Congress to pass a border security bill.
They desperately need more resources. They need more agents, more officers, more judges, more equipment in order to secure our border.
Now, after Senate Republicans rejected the measure, Biden is issuing a new executive order. It will allow U.S. immigration officials to deport migrants without processing their asylum claims when the number of illegal border crossings surpasses a specific threshold. Sources tell CBS News that number is likely 2,500 a day, which means it would likely be activated immediately. In May, Border Patrol recorded an average of 3,800 crossings daily.
These administrative actions are not going to solve the situation at the border. They will make a big difference. They will bring a lot of order to the border.
With the presidential election just months away, Republican senators question Biden's motives.
Why did you wait until now if you were serious about doing it? The simple answer is he's not serious.
And the Trump campaign released a statement saying if Joe Biden truly wanted to shut down the border, he could do so with a swipe of the same pen, but he never will. Biden's executive order will likely be challenged in court. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Washington.
Unaccompanied children are expected to be exempt from the order, which is expected to go in effect after midnight. Still to come on KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
You've probably had this in a diner or maybe at home and you didn't know what else to make. Wondering what it is? Stick around. We'll show you.
And we've got thunderstorms rolling in this evening and into the overnight hours. So when will we dry out? We got those answers and a look at those storm chances when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM News at noon. So we had that one severe thunderstorm at about 5 o'clock this morning in southern McDonald County. It did drop some pretty large hail for some folks down there, but as quickly as it flared up, it died out. And we've seen little showers try to get going here over the last few hours, but really not much has been started out there. But you see on the Skywatch Storm Tracker, take a look at the thinning of clouds out there. That's allowing a little more sunshine into the area, and that's what's going to help increase our chances for strong to severe thunderstorms as we head into the evening and overnight hours tonight. The only thing that's out there, and this just refreshed, is that little sprinkle just north of Oswego. That is the only precipitation on the Skywatch Storm Tracker right now. But that is going to change as we head later in today. Take a look, though. We've had little activity. The best one tried to get going into Craig County, but it died very quickly. We haven't been able to really get anything going, but we are getting more sunlight out there, and that's why our severe threat really hasn't changed since the update just before 8 o'clock this morning. We have an elevated risk for large hail across the area and an elevated risk for strong damaging wind gusts. We're talking 70 miles an hour or so out there with a thunderstorm complex that's expected to roll in as we head into the late evening and overnight hours. So by 2, again, trying to get a few stray showers going. If we can get a little more activity out there, then maybe as early as 5, we can start to see some isolated to widely scattered showers and maybe a couple of thunderstorms. Then by 8, that's when we start to see this kind of a mess of a system out there with isolated, widely scattered showers and thunderstorms. However, by about 8 is when we're going to start to see the opportunity for some of these storms to become strong to severe. Here we go to 10 o'clock, and we still have these thunderstorms, and you can also see some of them not moving a lot or training over some of the same areas. That could lead to some localized flash flooding concerns. By midnight, we've got a few thunderstorms out in southeast Kansas, but we've got a bigger complex stretching into northeastern Oklahoma and parts of southwest Missouri. Then after that, between midnight and about 2-3 a.m., we'll get that line of thunderstorms we were talking about this morning. Not very big, but still could be strong to severe, and it'll start to push off to the southeast. By the time we hit 5 o'clock tomorrow morning, we are on the back end of some lingering showers, maybe a couple of thunderstorms out there. And then as we head into the afternoon Wednesday, even by late morning, we start to clear out. And Wednesday kicks off at least a few days of pretty decent conditions. Our camera 7th and range line, yeah, there's clouds out there, but there's big enough breaks. We're getting ample sunshine. 79 in Joplin. Dew point is at 69, humidity is at 72%. That's given us a heat index of 82. That dew point is up there. We've got the energy for the storm. So we're back at that point of we've got some gasoline out here. We just don't have the spark yet, but that spark is on its way as we head later into the evening. And temperatures across the area are into the upper 70s. We're getting some low 80s out there as well. As we go through the rest of the day, again, isolated to scattered thunderstorms. Most of us into the low 80s, south winds occasionally gusting upwards of 20 miles an hour. Heading into the evening, we're back into the upper 60s. We'll have those thunderstorms again increasing overnight, and some of those could be strong to severe. And then after those morning showers and storms clear out, it's going to be pretty nice for our Wednesday, about 85, so a little bit on the warmer side out there. And we're going to go mid-upper 80s heading into Friday with mostly clear skies, so not doing too bad. Not bad on Saturday either. Great opportunity to hit the pool if you haven't had a chance yet, and you'll want to do so because showers and storms are going to start rolling back in by Sunday and Monday. So again, our main concern is strong severe thunderstorms later this evening, overnight, and of course we'll be here keeping an eye on those.
Absolutely. Thanks, Chris. And stick around. We're making the ultimate tuna melt in the Mr. Food Test kitchen. We'll be right back. Howard is showing us the recipe for the ultimate tuna melt in the Mr. Food Test kitchen.
Every once in a while, we choose a recipe that seems so simple. You might think, who needs a recipe for that? Today's recipe might sound like one of those, but once you taste it, you'll understand why it's so special. First of all, when it comes to buying tuna, I don't believe that all tuna is equal. Maybe I'm a tuna snob or it's just the way I grew up, but for me, tuna should be white, solid, and packed in water. And then it needs to be drained really well. You can do that by pressing the lid into the can, or you can pick up one of these tuna presses, which makes this a breeze. After it's flaked, we add some mayo. And then to make this the ultimate tuna melt, some Italian dressing and sweet relish. After it's mixed, we place a few slices of tomato on some rye bread, top it with the tuna, and layer on some cheddar cheese. When this gets baked long enough for the cheese to melt and the bread to get all toasty, it's done. And since we leave this topless, it's best to eat this with a fork and knife. The recipe for what we call the ultimate tuna melt is on our website and would be perfect to serve with a bowl of soup and some chips. I'm Howard of the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a basic yet tasty way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
You can, of course, find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just going over to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Now, here's a look at the 4 state market prices.
All right, so still watching for showers and thunderstorms to begin developing later this evening. They'll initially be pretty scattered, and then a few more organized thunderstorms overnight tonight. These storms will be capable of being strong to severe, with large hail and damaging wind gusts being the primary threats. After that, we'll clear out by tomorrow morning and into the afternoon, looking pretty good through Saturday before we see more rain chances next Sunday and Monday.
Certainly. Thanks, Chris. And Dowdy uppers tonight.
Lots coming up at 5 for starters as temperatures heat up. Officials are warning about the dangers of leaving children inside vehicles. A lot of vehicles have technology designed to remind parents a child is in the back seat, but in one family's case, it didn't prevent their child's death. Now, automakers are working on new detection technology that includes advanced radar systems. Plus, KDOT is seeking the public's opinion on current and future needs along U.S. Highway 69 in Crawford County. And Joplin High School's Science Research Program receives grant money for its student-led water quality research project. Hope you join us for those stories. A lot more, of course. It's all coming up today. KOAM News at 5.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dow. And that's the news for now. Thank you for joining us on KOAM News at noon. We'll see you right back here at 5. Until then, have a great rest of your day.